Hi, this is Dr. Grace. I'm continuing from last video on the topic of marital conflict. And in the last video, I talked about getting God involved in your marriage, in your marital conflict, how God needs to be part of your family life, married life, in your life. And especially when there's a conflict, you really need God's help because you cannot do it alone. If you do it alone, most likely it will get worse after the conflict. But when you have God involved, then chances are very likely that you will be restored. There will be reconciliation. So that was my tip number one. Number two, it doesn't really matter what the topic is, the disagreement or argument is about. You really need to have respect for one another. It may be easier to respect the other person when you are feeling good, and when you are getting along well, there might be more respect. One of the things that can go out the window when you are having a conflict is the respect, because you're so upset and angry. And it's really also about communication. Of course, there is that need for communicating what you are disagreeing about, what your point is. And we are very eager to express our opinion. And they are either verbal or nonverbal. And lots of times, it's really the nonverbal that communicates either disrespect or respect. So when you are having an argument or disagreement, do you tend to roll your eyes? Do you tend to sigh? Do you tend to just, oh my gosh, I can't believe this? And you might even mutter, softly, stupid. There are things that you could say both verbally and non-verbally that communicates disrespect. And then next thing you know, it's not really about what you're fighting about. The way that the other person was treated will trigger either anger or more anger, and the fight continues. And then it just becomes very hard to reconcile. So if you want to have a marital conflict, not that anybody wants it, I'm talking about when there is a marital conflict and you are entering into an argument, a disagreement, and you really want to push your point, and you have something to say, and you feel like the other person doesn't understand, or you don't see why they cannot see your point. Keep in mind, when you are having an argument and all you can think about is what you want to say, how it is important, how the other person is not understanding your point, and you are frustrated and you just want to express that frustration, keep in mind that you should never throw out respect. There is a way to argue, there's a way to disagree, while maintaining respect for one another. It's the respect that gets thrown out the window that will really hurt the relationship. Especially for women, the Bible talks about men need respect. It is critical for men to be respected by people around them. They will fight to regain their respect. And it could get really ugly when there is no respect from the other person, whoever they are. So when they can get that respect from their wives, it means a world to them. But then again, husbands, when wives feel disrespected, it hurts deeply too. So respect goes both ways. And disrespect can often be communicated non-verbally, rolling your eyes and just sighing or just muttering stuff and maybe throwing out some curse words. Either way, your frustration and anger gets expressed non-verbally, and it can cut through this relationship. So the first tip when you're having marital conflict, keep in mind to keep respect for one another. Each person needs that respect. No matter whether you're arguing about children, arguing about finances, arguing about any little smallest thing to the biggest thing, when you argue, when there is a conflict, there needs to be a way to do it with respect. So keep that in mind. Respect one another through your verbal and nonverbal communication. And that's a key to resolving marital conflict. Until next time, God bless your marriage.